What is the Omicron variant? The Omicron variant of COVID-19 has been known as a variant of worry by the World Health Organization, who, dependent on the proof that the Omicron variant has a few transformations that might affect how it acts. There is as yet significant vulnerability in regards to Omicron variant and a ton of examination in progress to assess its contagiousness, seriousness and reinfection hazard. How was the Omicron variant come about? At the point when an infection is coursing generally and causing various contaminations, the probability of the infection transforming increases. The more chances an infection needs to spread, the more chances it needs to go through changes. New variants like Omicron are an update that the COVID-19 pandemic is a long way from being done. It is hence fundamental that individuals get the vaccines when accessible to them and keep on paying attention to existing guidance on forestalling the spread of the virus, including physical removing, wearing veils, standard hand washing and keeping indoor regions very much ventilated. It is likewise vital that vaccination and other general well-being measures are available all over the place. Antibody disparity leaves lower-pay nations, a significant number of them in Africa, helpless before COVID-19. All-around provided nations should earnestly convey the portions they guaranteed. Where could the Omicron variant presently be? The Omicron variant has now been identified in numerous nations all over the planet. WHO reports that Omicron is presumably in many nations, regardless of whether it hasn't been recognized at this point. Is the Omicron variation more extreme than other COVID-19 variations? Early discoveries recommend that the Omicron variant may be less serious than the Delta variation, yet more information is required, and WHO cautions that it ought not be excused as gentle. Studies are continuous and this data will be refreshed as it opens up. It is critical to recollect that all variants of COVID-19 can cause serious illness or demise, including the Delta variant that is as yet predominant around the world, which is the reason for stalling the spread of the virus and decreasing your danger of openness to the infection is so significant. Is the Omicron variant more infectious? Omicron is spreading more rapidly than different variants. In light of the data accessible, WHO accepts all things considered, Omicron will dominate the Delta variation where there is COVID-19 transmission locally, notwithstanding, being immunized and playing it safe, for example, staying away from swarmed spaces, staying away from others, and wearing a face mask are basic in assisting with forestalling the spread of COVID-19. And we realize these activities have been compelling against different variants. Does the Omicron variant cause various manifestations? There is no data to recommend that Omicron causes distinctive COVID-19 side effects from other COVID-19 variations. Are the COVID-19 antibodies compelling against the Omicron variant? Scientists are investigating any potential effect the Omicron variant has on the viability of COVID-19 antibodies. Data is as yet restricted, yet there might be a little decrease in the viability of antibodies against extreme ailment and demise, and a decrease in forestalling gentle sickness and disease. Notwithstanding, WHO reports that thus far it seems as though the accessible vaccines offer huge security against serious infection and passing. It is likewise essential to take the vaccine to secure against the other generally flowing variants, like the Delta one. At the point when it's your move, try to get inoculated. Assuming your inoculation includes 2 dosages, it's vital to get both to have the greatest security. Is an earlier COVID-19 contamination viable against the Omicron variation? WHO reports that early proof recommends that past disease could offer less insurance against Omicron in contrast with different variants of concern, like Delta. Data is as yet restricted, however, and we will share refreshes as it opens up. You ought to get inoculated regardless of whether you've recently had COVID-19. While individuals who recuperate from COVID-19 might foster some regular invulnerability to the infection, we don't yet have the foggiest idea how long it endures or how well you are insured. Immunizations offer more dependable security. Do current COVID-19 tests distinguish the Omicron variants? The broadly utilized PCR and antigen-based fast demonstrative tests keep on identifying disease of COVID-19, including Omicron. Are kids bound to get the Omicron variants? Research is continuous into Omicron's contagiousness, and we will refresh as more data opens up. Be that as it may, individuals who are blending socially and the people who are unvaccinated are more defenseless to contracting COVID-19. How might I secure myself and my family against the Omicron variant? The main thing you can do is lessen your danger of openness to the virus. To ensure yourself and your friends and family, try to wear a face mask that covers your nose and mouth. Ensure that your hands are clean when you put on and remove your face mask. Keep an actual distance of no less than 1 meter from others. Keep away from inadequately ventilated or swarmed spaces. Open windows to further develop ventilation inside. Clean up consistently. At the point when it's your move, get inoculated. WHO-endorsed COVID-19 antibodies are protected and viable. How might I converse with my child about the Omicron and other COVID-19 variants? News about COVID-19 and presently the Omicron variant is flooding our regular routines, and it is just normal that inquisitive little children will have questions, bunches of them. Here are a few pointers to remember, ways to assist with clarifying what can be a confounded theme in straightforward and consoling terms. Kids reserve an option to realize what is happening, however it ought to be disclosed to them during a time-suitable way. Welcome your children to share what they have heard and pay attention to their reactions. It is vital to be completely connected with and approach any apprehensions they have in a serious way. Show restraint. The pandemic and deception has caused a great deal of stress and vulnerability for everybody. Ensure that you are modern on the most recent data yourself. Sites of global associations like UNICEF and the World Health Organization have incredible information about the pandemic. On the off chance that you don't have the foggiest idea about the response, don't figure. Use it as a chance to investigate the responses together. Recollect that children follow grown-ups, so regardless of whether you are stressed for your little one realizing that they may be awkward, do whatever it takes not to overshare your feelings of dread with your children. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon.